Welcome back to Lore Hoard, guys. We're here for 2026 and starting off strong. Happy New Year, and I hope you all had a lovely time over the holidays wherever you are. I thought I'd jump on here for a look inside the deck kitchen to go through what I ran in a couple of recent Set Champs events at some of my local game stores here in New South Wales. So for the first time ever, I decided to go into a Set Champs running Amethyst Ruby Control. Now, this is a very special list, and I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Nick, who coached me through it, gave me some tips and tricks on how to improve what I'd already started to build. And this list ended up placing me third in the most recent event that I went to at our local game store, Mega Games. So a big shout out to the crew there. They're lovely guys, awesome tournament organizers, and all of that jazz. But without further ado, let's take a look into this list. So we're going to go over here and see the layout. Now, we've got a really good cost curve here. It's pretty tempo heavy. It's pretty focused on some of that lower end as we get towards the mid game and get higher end and put some bigger bodies on board. Now, there is a lot of tech in this deck. It's also notably mostly characters with the exception of 3 whole cards. Now, we'll get into that in a moment, but we'll start off with our 1-drops here with Olaf, Palace Guard, and Tinkerbell. So starting with Palace Guard, he is a 1/4 body with Vanish. Now, Vanish is pretty detrimental sometimes because people can use the actions to get rid of him because of that 4 willpower, but they're not going to really want to do that because he's not really a threat. He can take a hit and he quests for 1. So he's pretty confident to be staying around on that board, at least to the mid game. Now, Tinkerbell here is our beater. She can swing in for 3 off the strength of her own stats there, but with Lumiere coming in next turn, she can hit for 4. So you're going to be able to have a good time getting rid of some of those really heavy hitting and heavy surviving cards there. Olaf is a 3 copies of, purely because I think he is not really an early gameplay. He's more of a mid to late gameplay when you want to start bouncing things like, Cheshire Cat, Demona, Hades, the Headless Horseman, all of that kind of thing, just to get some more benefit out of those on-play effects. So our 2-drop here is quite strong. Aside from Lumiere, we've got Diablo as a 3/3 with 2 lore. Speaks for itself, very strong and very relevant in this set's meta game for Ruby players. Now, for our 3-drops, we've got a couple of different ways of flinging that damage. I've been a bit of a flinger-dinger player my whole time with Ruby Amethyst, but this isn't a very flinger-dinger style deck. It just has some tech options for you. So we've got Cheshire Cat as a boost 2 to remove 2 damage from one of yours to an opponent's characters. It can also be from an opponent's to an opponent's character, and Mother Gothel to do 1 when you exert to challenge. Now, the handy thing there with Mother Gothel is that when you exert to challenge, you can actually move that damage counter before the challenge takes place. And I think I went over this in a previous video, maybe on my Instagram, but it's a really handy bit of tech there because it can help close out some of those challenging scenarios that you will come into contact with. Now, at our 4 costs, we've got Dumbo, Genie, and Iago, along with Hercules. Most of those evasives, they're going to make use out of the draw and lore effect of Dumbo, with Hercules protecting your heroes as well. Elsa here is a key card because she is able to exert a chosen opposing character on play and rush straight into them. She also benefits from the evasive line that will get you some card draw and extra lore from Dumbo if she stays around. And obviously, handy tip is when Hercules is exerted, heroes don't take damage unless they are being challenged, not while you challenge into something else. More on-play tech in this deck is Hades and the Headless Horseman for our 5 costs. Hades obviously making our opponent choose to either bottom deck one of their characters or risk giving us cards that will help flood our board. Now, the Headless Horseman is a very, very key card in this deck, hence the 4 copies of, even though he's uninkable, he can on play banish a chosen opposing character with 2 strength or less. Now, that is very relevant because of his second ability, that once he does do that, he gives every other character, including himself, +1 strength every time a character is banished that turn. Questing for 2, he's still pretty fragile with 2 willpower, but he does hit for 4 himself, so can make use of a quick and easy challenge there as well, especially if you're looking to move some damage with Mother Gothel. Demona here for our 6 cost is a 4 copies of 5/6 stat line character. She does have the Stone by Day ability. If you do have 3 or more cards in your hand, she cannot ready. However, does come into play ready and exerts every opposing character on play as well. So that goes through things like Ward because you're not choosing anything, and gives you 3 cards as well as your opponent. But the exerting ability there is great to play, especially after playing Hercules. So you can use Demona straight after playing Hercules. He's now dry, ready to start swinging into things, maybe move some damage with Mother Gothel, all of that jazz. And lastly, the on-play effect here is our 9-cost character, 3 copies of Maleficent Monstrous Dragon. She plays and banishes a character of your choosing. Now, this card is really anti-Blurple tech, especially for that later game if you kind of struggle with what you're getting at the time you're getting it in that pairing. But she does come into play a little bit, and I don't really find it that difficult to get to 9 ink anyway. Alrighty, so our last card in this deck, bringing us up to that total 60, is Hypnotic Strength. There's 3 copies of. This is your anti-illusion / Iago tech in this deck. It also gets a draw as well to replace itself. So if you are going up against the Iagos, maybe Giant Cobra, that kind of thing, you can choose those characters on your opponent's side as well to enforce a banish, as well as replacing the card you just played. At 2-cost inkable, it's also safe to ink, but I think you might want to keep hold of this depending on your pairing of the match. Alrighty guys, thank you very much for watching. That was Deck Kitchen for Ruby Amethyst this week, as we are going through set champs. Let me know in the comments if you like the deck, are interested in playing it, or have played it and what you think. We are going to get back into the swing of things here on Lore Hoard, publishing some more videos, content, all of that kind of thing as we get further into 2026. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next one.